Good evening and welcome to Northbeat. I'm Alyssa Mosier. We begin tonight in Nunavut, where RCMP say a 13-year-old boy in Igloolik has died due to injuries from an ATV crash. Police say the crash happened on Thursday and the ATV was the only vehicle involved. Another 13-year-old boy was driving. Both boys were sent to Igloolik's health center with injuries. The driver's injuries were treated and he was released from hospital. Police say they are still investigating the collision and they've contacted the coroner's office. RCMP in Bechecoon, Northwest Territories are investigating a fatal collision that occurred in the community this morning. The collision happened on the access road near the community's landfill. Police say they received a call about it around 1 this morning. They haven't released information about whether more than one vehicle was involved. The road was reduced to one lane of traffic today to allow for officers and a collision analyst to investigate. People working in child protection in Nunavut are sounding the alarm about the use of a facility meant to be a safe space for children in care. Last year, Family Services reopened Building 439 in Iqaluit as a family resource center. It was previously a group home, but as Samuel Watt reports, it's being used as one again.
Family Services calls Building 439 in Iqaluit the Ilaginek Wellness Centre. It's for programming for children in care as well as supervised visits with their families. Before 2024, it was a group home, but for the past year, it's mostly been just that. The department says that's allowed time for them to explore all family placement options. They were getting social workers to look after young people in their care. They go to their day jobs in the office and then sometimes go to 439 overnight. CBC has spoken to one former and one current social worker who we're not naming as it could harm their current employment with the Nunavut government. One worker says they received no extra training to carry out those duties and they'd get shamed if they wanted to go home after day and night on the job. Another worker believes they aren't properly compensated given the complexities of the job. That raises safety concerns for Jane Bates, Nunavut's representative for children and youth. She says children in care often have complex needs.
If you're a CSSW and you've been working all day, in a very high stress environment, are you really in a position to offer that care and support?
Now, Family Services has contracted Packer Baffin Society to run 439. The society describes itself as a non-profit, though it's associated with a range of companies providing security services. The use of 439 as a group home also meant visitations were moved to Family Services' downtown office.
When you don't have space to have visits, that directly impacts the ability for children to have ongoing contact with their parents, their extended family.
A former social worker says that keeps children in the system. They say the office is the place apprehended children are often first taken to, so it's traumatizing. The department says it's actively working to return visitations to 439, and it's unequivocal in saying the safety of children and youth in their care is the highest priority. Samuel Watt, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Staying in Nunavut, where a former student of a federal hostel in Cambridge Bay says the building he was forced to live in is still in the community and he wants it gone. But as Luke Carroll reports, that's not likely to happen.
When Peter David Avalock Jr. goes to his counseling sessions, he sees a physical reminder of the trauma that he's trying to work through. The former federal hostel that housed Inuit children from 1964 to 1997.
There's a lot of us that live in that hostel. They're probably feeling the same thing.
Avalock Jr. has reached out to some community leadership about having the building torn down, but it's currently being used as a warehouse by the Territorial Department of Health. A spokesperson for the Nunavut government says it's aware of informal concerns around the building, but hasn't received any formal complaints, and they have no plans to take down the building. The hostel in Cambridge Bay was one of several that was part of the Northern Affairs Branch Small Hostels program. Attendees of these hostels haven't been part of past settlements with the federal government over its assimilation policies. But a class action law firm that has worked on various settlements is in the early stages of a suit involving victims of the federal hostels.
I think that there are still gaps. I think there are still situations where Indigenous people suffered as kids, and they suffered because of an overarching federal government policy to take kids from their families, from their communities, from their culture.
For Avalok Jr., he's happy to hear there may be a class action and he would be interested in joining it. But for now, he just wants to be able to attend his counseling sessions without seeing the physical reminder of what he went through. Luke Carroll, CBC News, Yellowknife.
School boards in the Northwest Territories are hoping new territorial funding will help make up for a significant loss in federal money for education assistance. But a condition of that funding may make it difficult for them to access it. Last month, the NWT government announced up to $14 million to help rehire education assistants. Their contracts expired after the federal government made changes to Jordan's principal policy in February. In order to qualify for the newly allocated money from the territory, education bodies have to first put their surpluses toward filling the education assistant positions. But education bodies say surpluses are often needed for other things, like emergencies, hiring substitute teachers, and technology expenses. Yellowknife's public school board doesn't know if it will be eligible for the territorial funding.
The funding has been, it's conditional. There's a couple of criteria that have to be met. I basically applied on a hope and a prayer to see if we would be eligible for anything.
Education Minister Caitlin Cleveland says $14 million is enough to fund all 205 education assistants that were previously paid for through Jordan's principal, and that the conditions are meant to make sure public funds are used responsibly.
We have typically have education bodies that have surpluses year over year. And when we say that these dollars are for emergencies, that's where we are right now. We are in a situation where we need to make sure that students have access to these supports in the classrooms, and at the same time that we are being prudent with public funds. At the end of the day, if there are overages in some areas, that's something that we can talk about if we get there. But holding on to public funds for a rainy day, well, today is a rainy day.
As of last week, 3 education bodies in the territory had applied for education assistance funding. The NWT government says they can expect to hear back within the week. Yukon's new Residential Tenancies Act came into effect this month. It introduces a formalized process to protect landlords from pet damage through a security deposit. But so far, tenants say they're still struggling to find a landlord who will allow animals in the first place. Katrin Pilkington reports.
Here at Humane Society Yukon, the shelter is overflowing with dogs waiting to be adopted, and staff say the lack of pet-friendly rentals isn't helping.
A lot of people come in wanting to adopt, and then they go to check with their landlord, and then they can't adopt because the landlord says no. So we do have a fair, and we do have animals surrendered on a fairly regular basis because they have to move and they can't take the animal because they're renting and their landlord says no.
It's a story that plays out across Canada. In PEI, One Humane Society has been advocating for a federal ban on no pet clauses in rental agreements. Hardy says that's something she would support.
I know it's tricky for landlords. I know there are, a lot of cases where animals do a fair bit of damage. But I don't think, people having to give up their animals to be able to live is fair either.
Can you spin? Spin? Can you spin? Aw.
For people like Valerie Ducharme, giving up her Australian Shepherd, Moo, wasn't an option.
I would never see my life without him. So no, I could not have surrendered my dog under any circumstances, and I would have probably lived out of my tent if it came to that.
Ducharme says she searched for months, responded to dozens and dozens of listings, and finally found a unit with just days to go before her lease was up. She says she too would support regulations to prevent no pet clauses.
That would be awesome. I feel like Yukon is the place to have dogs. It is like the dream place to own dogs, 1 dog, 2 dogs, and it's really hard when most rentals don't allow dogs when it's the place to have them.
CBC reached out to the Yukon Residential Landlord Association but was not able to arrange an interview by deadline. Katrin Pilkington, CBC News, Whitehorse.
Today is the first day of the territorial election campaign period in Nunavut. It will last 35 days. Nunavummiut can declare their candidacy starting today. The deadline to declare is this Friday at 2 p.m. local time. Applicants can withdraw their declarations until 5 p.m. that day. Elections Nunavut is set to send out voting information cards by mail starting Tuesday. That's tomorrow. The first day of advance voting is October 13th. Election day is October 27th.
As I looked upon the battlefield in front of me, a German star shell lit up the desolate landscape. I watched as a bullet smashed through the bridge of my nose and left me to the mercy of the darkness. I worried I would be dependent on others for the rest of my life. But Sir Arthur Pearson and the staff of St. Dunstan's had other plans. With their help, I knew I could be self-reliant, and I wanted to bring this idea home to Canada. I wanted Canadians to know that we could hold jobs, that we could contribute, that regardless of sight, all would read, that we, the blind, would shape our own lives, our own destiny.
Blinded by a sniper's bullet in 1915, Edwin A. Baker went on to co-found the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, shaping a path forward for the blind across Canada for generations to come.
The future is everything. Stories of incredible ingenuity, dedication, and some extraordinary teamwork. This is parenthood.
Take a voyage with me to the vast, remote, most extreme place on Earth.
For many, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Where the effects of climate change are intensifying.
The poles are a very rapidly changing place.
And geopolitical cracks threaten peace and stability.
Do you think there's a security concern?
I definitely do.
Experience the historic all-Canadian mission. CBC in Antarctica. Watch free on CBC Gem.
Want to get the most out of CBC News? Use the app or cbcnews.ca for live breaking news on the stories that matter to you. Whether it's local, national, or around the world, turn to CBC News.
Although the NBA currently is flooded with Canadian players, this was not a reality.
A new immigration law.
This story, it's directly tied to all those families who made a brave choice to come to this country.
A German tourist was reported missing this month while visiting the Northwest Territories. Police say multiple search and rescue resources joined in the effort, but it turned out the man wasn't missing at all. The CBC's Tamara Merritt has more.
Carsten Iwers was visiting the NWT from Germany for a 7-week canoe trip in July. He had no idea that by the end of it, he'd be in the news as a missing person. He was canoeing from Coville Lake to Nunavut along the Anderson River, but by the time he was back in Yellowknife in September, he had been reported missing. He says it was due to a miscommunication. While on the river, he used a satellite phone to contact an Airbnb host in Nunavut, where he was ending his trip. He planned to use her internet connection once he arrived in town to properly book a unit. But communication with the host stopped before he got an address. With nowhere to go in Nunavut, he went back to Yellowknife. 3 days after arriving in the city, he found out the Airbnb host had reported him missing. Iwers says he finds the situation puzzling. He says the RCMP should have done a more thorough investigation before using up resources to find him. A canoeist with 2 decades of experience, Ires had people he checked in with every 48 hours, who would have contacted authorities if something went wrong. The Airbnb host wasn't one of them. In an email to the CBC, the RCMP said that anyone can report a missing person, and that the matter will be actioned and investigated as required. The CBC also requested an interview with the RCMP, but they declined to give any details specific to Ira's case. Tamara Merritt, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Almanacs have been considered a trusted source by many people for hundreds of years for things like weather forecasts, gardening advice, recipes, and other helpful information. The CBC's Johanna Wagstaff explores the history, the science, and why millions of people still turn to these books each year.
These little books have promised long-range weather forecasts for about 230 years, but do they actually work? The oldest of the almanacs is the Old Farmer's Almanac, published in 1792.
You know, I think a lot of people wish it was folklore, like, you know, we took a chicken and spun it around or looked at the woolly bear caterpillars.
And that's what I assumed too, that it was folksy wisdom rooted in observational truth, red skies at night, that sort of thing. But it turns out the forecasts mainly come from sunspots.
The big thing that we do is look at the magnetic storm cycles on the sun. And then, of course, there's things we have to tweak. We know that we're on a warming planet. So what's happening there? How warm are the oceans? How cold are they? What's the polar vortex doing? We've been working with a team at AccuWeather for 40 years. And so they use our proprietary formula that takes into account the sunspot activity to make those long-range forecasts.
Now, sunspots do signal increased solar magnetic activity, but their effect on Earth's weather is tiny compared to factors like greenhouse gas emissions. I was pleasantly surprised to hear them acknowledge climate change, but folding it into a sunspot formula doesn't suddenly make the science stack up. Still, the Old Farmer's Almanac sells 2.5 million copies a year, 500,000 here in Canada.
As a confession, I enjoy the Farmer's Almanac. I love the recipes and the anecdotes and the antidotes and the commercials, but hey, I'd be sacrilegious to say that I consulted the forecasts.
The editors claim 80% accuracy for their winter forecasts, but
this one said that the coldest part of winter in Ontario is going to be mid to late December, early and late January, and early February. Hey, they've got the weather covered for the entire winter. How can they be wrong?
Independent checks show that when they do get specific, accuracy hovers near random chance. Meanwhile, science-based seasonal outlooks rely on ocean signals, decades of data, supercomputer models. They're improving, but only about 60% accurate with less detail. Seasonal forecasting is tough for everyone. But the thing is, people might not be looking for that kind of accuracy from an almanac.
We talk about phenology. So when the lilacs are coming out, it's time to plant the peas or the potatoes. You know, this idea that we can look at what's around us. And yes, there's a certainty to the shape of the seasons. And I think that is what people are craving, is this idea that we are part of something larger. You know, we're all connected by this earth. We're looking out for her. And we do that in different ways.
Whether it's a 200-year-old book or a weather app that you're checking for the long range, the key is staying connected to the natural and warming world around you.
That report from the CBC's Johanna Wagstaff. Well, it's an environmental problem that's been around for a long time. Plastics polluting the world's oceans. Now, an environmental solution that's been around a long time too is going to be tried out: recycling. The CBC's Yasmin Ranea has more.
This used to be a fishing net.
Millions of these pellets are giving new life to plastic fishing gear choking oceans and coastlines.
Right now, plastic pollution is one of the biggest challenges facing our time.
Worldwide, about 640,000 tons of abandoned, lost, or discarded fishing gear are left in oceans annually, a leading cause of marine animal deaths. Whales and dolphins can become entangled in the waste, and it can also be mistaken for food.
And we really need to just be conserving the biodiversity we have in Canada as well as internationally. So we really need to be better managing these materials.
It's why BC-based Ocean Legacy opened Canada's first marine plastic recycling facility. Here, fishing ropes, nets, and other materials are melted, diced into tiny pellets, then molded into new products.
And these can be used for just about anything from signage and construction to different paneling.
Even patio furniture. Ocean Legacy has relied on money from federal and provincial ocean cleanup projects, but that funding stopped this year. Now the organization is bringing in less than 50% of what it needs to sustain operations.
It's impacted Ocean Legacy, but also the entire community that's involved in ocean cleanup.
And even at full capacity, some say recycling is only just scratching the surface.
The reality is, if we don't stop plastic production, if we don't stop wasting so much plastic and generating so much plastic waste, it's just going to always be cleaning up a mess that we're constantly making.
Every piece of plastic that's ever been produced since the 50s exists in some capacity on this planet.
While Ocean Legacy plans to expand operations across the country, its ultimate goal is to not exist. Yasmin Ghaneya, CBC News, Richmond, British Columbia.
Chinese tariffs are creating frustration for canola farmers in the prairies. They're bringing in one of their best crops in recent years, but may not turn a profit on it. Alexander Silverman shows us how some are coping.
Rob Stone is starting to harvest a promising canola crop. Mild weather helping his southern Saskatchewan fields grow abundant.
It's a nice, tidy surprise.
But this year's harvest, once ripe with potential profit, is full of disappointment. Chinese tariffs on canola are continuing to push down prices, with a nearly 76% duty on seeds imposed last month, cutting off Canada's second largest buyer, a nearly $5 billion market.
It can be frustrating when you've got a strong crop.
So these tariffs for you are the difference between turning a profit and breaking even?
On canola, yes, and there's a lot of interactions on the farm balance sheet right now that are being affected by that. That really is the difference between profit, break even, or maybe a loss.
Despite tariffs, canola prices remain historically high, but the costs of running a farm are rising too.
The thing that has been paying the bills is barely making any money.
This expert says many producers facing already thin margins are now left trying to avoid a loss.
They might be looking at alternatives in the spring to grow something else, just because it's less expensive.
Ottawa is offering financial relief, interest-free loans of up to $500,000. But industry groups say those measures fall short.
If this thing drags out, farmers are going to need to be supported somehow to get them through this.
The longer that flowers, the better the yield prospect.
Choosing which crops to grow is becoming a challenge the longer the trade disruption lingers.
It's not simple, I get that, but it needs to be fixed.
The federal government says it's committed to working with the industry to find solutions. But producers say all of the canola coming out of their fields needs market access now. Alexander Silverman, CBC News, Davidson, Saskatchewan.
There was a show of strength in Whitehorse this weekend. The community hosted its first ever Yukon Strong competition. Events for the weightlifting aficionados included carrying flour, lifting big rocks, holding hammers, and pulling fire trucks. The CBC's George Moratis checked it out.
Why are people pulling a fire truck today?
Yeah, all for a great cause, actually, for the Whitehorse Firefighters Charitable Society and Yukon Strong, our first attempt at a strong person event here with Northern Strength Academy at Shipyards Park. I mean, it's just really to celebrate all the strong Yukoners that we know and just get out and have a great community event here. It's a little bit of rain today, but people have still come out, so we're having lots of fun.
How heavy is that truck?
2,700 pounds, we learned today, so it is a massive truck, and we saw some people move that thing pretty quickly, and a lot of people battled really hard to get it moving, so yeah.
And I'm noticing a lot more women than men here.
Yeah, absolutely. The women have showed up today, and I don't know if you saw, but one of the ladies moved that thing very fast, and we've seen some really impressive efforts. Yeah, we have a lot of women at the fitness facility actually, and like we were saying before, the spirit, the camaraderie, and just like cheering each other on to do great, cool, successful things and move some heavy stuff has been really empowering.
I noticed you're not pulling the fire truck. You're too smart for that. Or?
Yeah, no, I got to use my organizer card today to get myself out of that and not put too much strain in.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, you can head to our website, cbc.ca/north. I'm Alyssa Mosier. Thank you so much for watching. We leave you now with a great time-lapsed video from Friday at Reed Lake outside Yellowknife. The Northern Lights are certainly back.